Welcome back to The Takeout. The clash, we should note, was predictable. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Here is a small sample.
In my state, the word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
What conversation did you have with Mr. Ballard?
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You admitted you lied to be
accusing
elected a U.S. senator. You lied. How dare you? I'm a career prosecutor. Don't you ever challenge my integrity.
Jake Rosen has been following this for us. So, Jake, with that soundbite as a precursor, who's Mr. Ballard?
Ballard is part of Ballard & Associates, which is a lobbying firm that Pam Bondi worked for in the interim between her past kind of jobs before she took this one. What she did there was work as a lobbyist for, in part, and one part of her very wide range was the Qatari government. That's been obviously of central focus of the Senate Judiciary Democrats and Democrats as a whole in Congress, because what did Pam Bondi know and or work between and behind the scenes about that Qatari jet that was gifted to President Trump? And obviously, in addition to that major, what she actually did for them, because there are accusations she didn't properly list her kind of full resume of what she did. She said in this hearing, and has said repeatedly, that that work was just around the World Cup and stopping human trafficking and working with the Qatari government to do that.
That was the line of questioning there. Was there a line of questioning about what is going to happen tomorrow with James Comey, the former FBI director? Repeatedly,
and it was from both sides, because Republicans were obviously touting the work that Pam Bondi and her Justice Department have done on this. We heard it from Lindsey Graham. We heard it from Chuck Grassley, two very prominent senators on this committee who were touting and thanked her for her work on bringing people like James Comey, who they believe had done wrongdoing, not just in related to potentially lying to Congress, but potentially other things. Think about the 2016 election and the Russia investigation. At the same time, we saw people like Dick Durbin, who we saw Pam Bondi get into a clash with there a little bit. Adam Schiff, who's on that list of people who President Trump told Pam Bondi to investigate and to potentially prosecute, and quickly, all push back and say, you've caused this massive disruption, not just in the Department of Justice, Maine, down here in D.C., but in all these prosecutor offices where these cases have been investigated. There are career prosecutors in many cases, specifically in Virginia. A Trump-appointed prosecutor refused to bring that indictment against James Comey, and what she knew between the White House. She punted, and multiple times on multiple different lines of questioning around this, saying that she's not going to dive into any of this, and she touted Lindsey Halligan, that former Trump aide who's now installed in that top prosecutor role, for actually securing that indictment. But again, reminding people that what at least has been done so far has been fully legal in terms of bringing this indictment against James Comey, and we'll see him in court tomorrow.
Any questions about the Epstein files?
And there were a number, and part of this has been what Democrats have been pushing for since this memo came out, which was, who are you protecting? Why haven't you investigated a lot of those suspicious activity reports that were submitted by banks?
Financial connection points.
And not just that, but who maybe behind the scenes financially Epstein had backed or had his backing of. At the same time, we saw even Senator Kennedy from Louisiana come forward and say, why haven't you even investigated a Trump cabinet member, Howard Lutnick, who went on another media outlet and said that, who was allegedly apparently neighbors with Epstein at a certain point in time, and said he was one of the top blackmailers in the world. And why haven't you investigated him and talked to him about what he knew about
what
this
Howard
Epstein?
Lutnick knew.
Exactly. And
based on what he said on another media outlet.
Exactly. And coming, this flank still coming from the right is still true. Pam Bondi said it's up to Kash Patel to do that. However, obviously, she oversees Kash Patel and the FBI to some degree, so certainly could be under her purview to do that.
Much to sift, and you sifted it well, as always. Jake Rosen, thank you very much.